hello and welcome to another episode of Speak Geek, your favorite place for video games, movies, TV shows, wrestling, and other pop culture news. Sorry for being a week late. I forgot why we couldn't record last week.
I think you had
record last
I think
week?
You had a headache, and then I had some things going on. But but who cares? It's good to be back. What's cracking, y'all?
Yeah.
What's up, man? It's good to be back. I feel like absence makes the heart grow fonder. So the longer we stay apart, the more you guys want us, and we really want you to want us.
And I want to apologize if you guys can hear some random ass banging and pounding. It's my upstairs neighbors being fucking loud, as they always are. So hopefully it's not audible. I really hope so. It's just loud enough to bug the shit out of me, but not loud enough, I think, to be picked up by the mic. It's like someone sitting next to you poking you in the face every 5 seconds.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, homie, I can't hear it, so I think we're gonna be good to go.
Good. Let's jump into this. Okay, I really want to start this off. I know no one else gives a shit, but I really want to start this off by giving a shout out to my Buffalo Bills, because as someone who's been a Bills fan pretty much their entire life, it's been a long while since we've had a good Buffalo Bills team. And I mean,
long time.
Those of you that watch the NFL, I mean, 13-3 this year, made it all the way to the AFC Championship, lost. But I'm not even upset about that. I mean, it was such a good season. And, it's funny. All I'm seeing now are people going, yeah, I'm always a Bills fan. I'm always a Bills fan. Get the fuck off my bandwagon. No, you weren't, because I had to put up with, 25 years of being shit on for being a Bills fan. So everyone can lick my nuts.
But this is something I was thinking about the other day, too. Man, fuck people saying, oh, you're a bandwagoner fan, blah. Who gives a shit, man? If they're willing to spend money and be there, then they're willing to be there, man. Like, if they're a fan now, they're a fan now. What I can't stand is people who are Raider fan or Niners fans the whole season, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, we're Packers fans. No, you're not. You're a Niners fan. You're not a Packers fan because it's bullshit. But, I grew up a Niners fan, and I jumped over to my Philadelphia Eagles pretty late in life, but I bleed green now. Fly, Eagles, fly, baby. But I'm just saying, you can't be too mad about it if someone's a bandwagoner now. But you have been a fan since, fucking day one, because I've seen your jersey collection and that weird Buffalo Bill tattoo you have on your left ass cheek. So, I know that you've been holding it down for a long time.
I should specify, I don't give a shit if you're a bandwagon fan. What I give a shit about is when, look at Patriots fans this season. You hear anything from Patriot fans at all?
Well, no. Because they're Patriots fans. They fucking suck.
What I care about is when you suddenly jump on the bandwagon and you suddenly just start talking shit, because it's easy to. It's easy to talk shit when your team is good for, 15 years.
Yep.
I don't know why it bugs me so much, but like I said about Patriots fans, no one was a Patriot fan before 2001. There were 4 Patriot fans.
Yeah. Well, no one was a Warriors fan.
I knew
before Curry.
One of them. Yeah, exactly. No one was a Seahawks fan before fucking Russell Wilson and they started going to Super Bowls, and now all you hear is eighth man, and all that shit. It's because they're good now. That's fine. But don't talk shit when you've been a fan for 2 weeks.
Exactly. I agree with you. Get off Tony's dick about it, guys.
I would say in the NFL, there's only 3 fan bases that I think are legit, lifelong loyal, and it's the Bills, the fucking Eagles, and the Raiders. Those 3 I would never talk shit to, because I know those fans are fans basically since birth.
Yeah, out in the Bay Area out here, man, there are a lot of new Niners fans, and Warriors fans all the time. I remember, I don't follow basketball, so I can't pretend to be a fan of anything. But I do remember, growing up, people would wear Warriors jerseys here, but it was very rare. You just didn't see them. And now, during basketball season, you go to Safeway, and every single middle-aged housewife in pumps is rocking a Steph Curry jersey or a Draymond Green jersey, and I'm just it's just insane, how these people have lived here for 25 years and gave 2 shits about basketball until now, and it's just, I wonder why.
It's funny, when I was growing up, if you were from California, your team was the Lakers.
Yep.
Just because that's, it was the Showtime Lakers. And then when I was in college, if you lived in California, your teams were the Lakers or the Kings.
That's right. Oh, with Mike Bibby. That's right.
Yeah. Bibby and Bobby. You remember that?
Yep.
Bibby, Bobby, Chris Webber.
I did. That's a long time ago. Yeah.
And then that went away, and now everybody's a Warriors fan. I don't know.
As long as people,
it is what it is.
Yeah, let them have it. But hey, man, I do agree.
It's weird because when I was in Oklahoma, it's just you can see like the OSU and Oklahoma fans. I mean, you just know they've been there for like generations.
Like their trailer's been passed down from generation with fandom.
Correct. What were you gonna say?
Funny. No, I was gonna say, man, I do agree with you though, man. The Bills had a hell of a season, dude. You guys got a great quarterback in the future with Josh Allen, man. He's a beast. There was a play where I thought, and half of the Twitterverse thought that he had broke his knee. I was like, oh my god, he's dead. And he bounced up out of that, and dude, it was bananas. All the respect to fucking Josh Allen and the Bills, man. Best of luck to you guys next season, I guess, man. But again, you guys earned it. Fucking enjoy it, man.
I think we're in for just like in the 90s when the Bills were going to Super Bowls every year. Every fall, it came down to Buffalo and Miami. It was Marino and Kelly.
Yep.
I think we're going to have the same kind of relationship with Patrick Mahomes. I think basically if the Bills continue to be good, it's going to be, Allen and Mahomes.
True.
And I'm okay with that. That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I think this Super Bowl,
gunslingers.
This Super Bowl is going to be kind of, like the past versus the future is how I look at it with Brady and Mahomes.
God, I don't know what I'm going to do if Brady wins another ring.
If Brady wins a ring now, Brady gets respect because he got out of that. He came to a whole new division, a whole new team, and he's a one
whole
game
new
away.
Coaching style.
Right. I mean, he's one game away from winning the Super Bowl in an entirely new division. I mean, has another quarterback done that?
No, exactly. That's what I was going to say. If he wins this Super Bowl, as much as I don't like the guy, I have to start respecting him because I can't just blame it on Belichick and, he's just comfortable in the system and blah, blah, blah. If he does it, I have to at least back off a little bit.
Absolutely.
I think Kurt Warner was the last one to do it. He didn't win either, so...
Well, that's where it's like, I mean, if you think about it, I think Brady has basically had 3 Hall of Fame careers if you look at what he's doing. And, man, I'm not...
In one, yeah.
Yeah, in one person. So I'm not upset, man. Let him do his thing. Maybe he goes out gracefully. But, I mean, Gruden left the Raiders, went to Tampa Bay, and then won a Super Bowl.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. What was that last part?
Gruden, when he left Oakland and then went to Tampa Bay and won the Super Bowl as head coach.
Oh, yeah, in 2002. Man, I loved that fucking Gruden Bucks team. Yeah. That team was just, my God, so good.
It was, man. And again, fuck Tom Brady.
It was like the shittiest offense ever, but it was so good. It
was, dude. And fuck Tom Brady. Fuck Tom Brady and all of them, too. I don't care. Tom Brady can he can win as many Super Bowls as he wants. He still lost to the Eagles in the Super Bowl. And that's all that matters to me.
Correct.
I don't care.
How happy I know how happy you were.
Oh my God.
As someone who wasn't a fan of either, I was fucking cheering.
Dude, I took my shirt off. I ran out in the street. I threw a rake. I had my championship belt. I was crying. And it was my birthday, which was crazy. So it was the greatest birthday ever, man. It was a magical season and a great time. So fuck Tom Brady.
Yeah, it was good revenge for that other Super Bowl they lost when you guys had McNabb.
It was, man. So fuck him. But if he wins, respect to him. But also, I like Andy Reid, so I want Andy Reid to go out there and get another Super Bowl win because of.
Exactly.
Philadelphia wouldn't have been the team it was without Andy Reid. So, man, either way, it should be a good Super Bowl. I'm excited for it, man. So go Bills and all that jazz.
Yeah, I subscribed to CBS All Access for a month just to watch it.
Nice.
So, anyways, let's move on. Our first big piece of news, and I'm glad this is the earlier part of the year and not the latter half of the year.
Yeah, me too.
Is that the Snyder Cut is finally getting a fucking release date. March 18th, it'll release on, HBO Max. It's apparently they're not doing the whole 4-part thing anymore. Do you remember reading about that?
I do remember reading about that. There's going to be 4 1-hour parts.
Yeah, so apparently they're reneging on that, and it's just going to be it's being marketed now as just a long ass 4-hour movie. I don't know what's going on there. But there were a bunch of articles about it like 2 weeks ago. They were like, hey, what's going on? The Justice League was being promoted as, a 4-part miniseries, and now it's... Well, I don't know. I just thought I would bring that up. But I'm excited. That's only in like 2 months.
Less than 2 months. Less than 2 months, which is super exciting, which means that, clearly this is falling in the lineup and with the other releases that are going to be falling out behind HBO Max, which I think, which is cool, man, because it shows HBO Max is doing, they're having power, is what it looks like, and like
this is 4 years in the making for me.
Yes, and they're lining up their spring release dates, which is going to be sick, dude. I can't wait. I hope that we're not overhyping this, which I think I talked to you about the other day. I was like, I feel
we
like
are.
We're overhyping this so much, but it's well deserved. I mean, Zack Snyder put his heart and soul into this. He had the tragedy, he had the family tragedy while making it, which he had to leave too. And I think it's good that he's able to come back and finish it. I just hope that that it's what everybody says it is. There's this long campaign to get it released, so they're finally doing it. So let's see what happens. I'm hoping this is a good way for them to restart the Justice League franchise, to restart all of that stuff, to wash the bad taste of Wonder Woman 84 and all that shit out of our mouths, and relaunch, the Justice League and relaunch these characters, because we got Flashpoint coming up pretty soon, or the Flash movie coming up. We've got Wonder Woman 84 just dropped. I mean, DC needs to do something. We've got the Batman stuff coming up.
Yeah, so we got Aquaman 2 in the pipeline, Shazam 2 in the pipeline, Suicide Squad.
So all of this stuff should be good. Now, I'm curious to see where this is going to go. We know the story. We know how this thing ends, but I'm hoping that it's good. I really am, and I'm excited. I'm excited.
I am too. I'm so excited, and realistically, I think it's only going to be marginally better than the Whedon cut.
Yes.
But even if it is just marginally better, that's still a win for me.
Absolutely.
Because the Whedon cut was just hot shit. I geeked out so hard for the Whedon cut, and I saw it twice in the theaters, and I'm still able to say, yeah, that movie fucking sucked. The only reason why I liked it is just because I'm getting to see a live-action Cyborg and Aquaman. And Flash, that's it.
Right. Well, I went into it expecting more Cyborg, and there just wasn't, and that kind of upset me. And I felt like, and again, same thing with you.
Why.
I was super hyped about Justice League, and I was on Justice League's dick after I saw it too. I was like, man, y'all got to take a step back and just appreciate the movie. But then the more it sat there, the more I was like, oh, God, that movie sucked. Which was the exact opposite for Star Wars Episode 8. The first time I saw it, I was like, God, that movie was hot garbage. But the longer I sat there, I was like, oh, it's a good movie. So like, that's what I'm kind of hoping, man. I mean, Zack Snyder makes good movies, but he also makes dog shit movies. So,
Yep.
I'm not holding out my breath, because at the end of this, we're just getting a revamped Justice League that we've already seen. It doesn't mean this is not launching a new Batman series for Ben Affleck. We've already seen the Wonder Woman follow-up, supposedly. You know what I mean? So, like, we've already seen it. We already know what's going on. So let's just hope for the best.
I think I'm just super duper thankful that this is going to be part of HBO Max and that I don't have to pay extra for it.
That is true. Oh, but quick down here too. HBO Max, you fucking suck, because you need to start telling people, first of all, that these movies are going to only be on there for 30 days, number one. Number two, when you said you were going to have a 4K UHDR Dolby Vision catalog, you didn't specify it was only going to be the new releases for the 30 days they're available. It's dog shit, and I'm not happy about that.
It is. Yeah, it is. And like I said on the last episode, I mean, half this stuff already had 4K masters to begin with, like Titans and Doom Patrol and all that. There's absolutely no reason why they don't have it here.
Right. But, dude,
so,
man.
I don't understand.
So do you think in this Justice League that we're going to get any kind of insight to anything involving, like, the upcoming Flash movie, any of that kind of stuff? Or do you think it's just going to be more of everything that Snyder shot, and it is going to be just like a retelling of that movie?
I don't think so, because it looks like the direction they're going with the Flash movie and like the Batman and all these movies moving forward, looks like they're veering dramatically away from the DCEU that was in place when Snyder made Justice League.
Right.
I think this is just a way to bookend Snyder's time, being responsible for the DCEU. There might be some hints in once the Flash movie comes out, there might be some hints looking back, like, oh, when he showed up to warn Ben Affleck in the nightmare scene and all that. Those might have, like, a little bit to do with the new Flash movie, but I think this is just a way to officially end Snyder's time with DC.
See, that's what I'm thinking too. Like, it's just his way to be like, yo, man, these are your characters. You started these. Go ahead and finish this off. Kind of, here's your swan song with DC.
Exactly.
Cool. Okay, I'm glad we're on the same page then, because I mean that's kind of how my expectations have been going into this. So
yeah,
it's to me
it's definitely I definitely don't think it's going to introduce any new concepts moving forward.
Right. This isn't like the Avengers, like I was kind of hoping this would have been when it launched. It's turning more into a quote unquote end game. You know, like the final just wrapping up of everything.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. That's exactly what I think it is. I think it just ends Snyder's time, and we'll just have to move on. I mean, after all this time, DC is still trying to find their footing. I thought they had found it with Aquaman and Shazam and Wonder Woman.
Right.
They kind of fell into a groove there where they were just releasing good movies.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, Birds of Prey I liked, but no one else did, and that was their big stumble.
Whoa,
and then all of a sudden, this shit with...
I can't believe people didn't like Birds of Prey, man. Because
I know, it was so much fun.
Dude, it's funny because if you look, I mean, it upsets me. And I think it has to do because it was a female cast. And I'm going to tell you right now, Ewan McGregor as Black Mask was hands down one of the best villain people I have seen in a DC movie. Like, he was fucking fantastic.
He was so good. I was laughing my ass off with that one line where he goes, "Hey, do as you're told."
Right. Oh my god, dude.
I was like, dude, just the way he delivered that line was awesome. Hey, do as you're told.
Dude, and to this day, I still can't call someone a fucking moron without saying it the way he does. Because he's like, oh yeah, because you're a fucking moron. I'm like, oh my god. Like, he said that, and I was like, to give him an Oscar for those two words, fucking moron. Dude, it was such a good movie. And that's where, oh, see, even your dog likes it.
Well, that's because someone knocked on my door. You keep talking, I can still hear it. I'm going to check this.
No, what I was going to say was, like, Suicide Squad was great, and I think that DC, when they had Aquaman and when they had... See? We agree. And that's what I like. I like the fact that more than just humans agree. You know what I'm saying? I like the fact that more than just humans agree.
Dude, shut up!
No, I was just saying... Take your time.
It's my neighbor. He just needs something.
I was actually... Me and your dog were actually having a conversation. It was pretty good. Very insightful.
You know what? I'm not even going to edit this part out. Those of you listening, my neighbor needs some cooking oil, and I'm about to be a good neighbor.
Perhaps you can lower the volume of the dog barking. Because I'm loud.
Yeah, I wish I could, but I can't.
Oh.
Here you go, man. You actually had this, and I actually don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You got it. Have a good one. All right.
Have you ever seen? Have you ever seen?
Those of you in New Zealand and Germany, you heard me being a good neighbor.
Have you ever seen Pop Star with Andy Samberg?
Never Stop, Never Given Up.
Yeah, Never Stop Stopping.
Or Never Stop. I don't know what I was saying, but yeah, Never Stop, whatever.
Yeah.
No, I've scrolled past it many a time though, and thought I need to watch this.
It's funny, man. I like it. I own it. And I was watching it the other day, and there's a part where he's on camera. And he's like, "Put the cameras down." So they were just voice recording him. By that voice recording him, he gets attacked by this giant bee, and he gets a flamethrower, but they don't see anything. It's all just like you can hear it. And all of a sudden, like, "Did you get that on film?" And they're like, "You told us to stop recording." I'm like, son of a bitch. And I was going to say, what you should do is just edit out all the dog stuff that we just had, and then just say during this time you were attacked by giant bees and had to use your flamethrower, and then no one will know the wiser. It'll be fantastic. But I've already spoiled it now.
If only I was able to edit like that.
We'll put an ad break. Dude,
my skills come down to just cutting out like farts and stuff.
Hey man,
that's about it.
I want our fans to know that I am against that. I am a 100% fart proponent on podcasts. So if you gotta let it go, man, let it go.
You're pro fart.
Pro fart. Dude, but what yeah, dude. So, I don't know. I'm looking forward to what's going on with Justice League. Like I was saying, I loved Birds of Prey, and I think that DC is their best when they're just kind of standing alone and telling these enclosed, small-scale stories. When they get into these massive, big-world stories, they lose everything. The Avengers, Marvel, they managed to do it because of the worlds and the characters they've built, because they feel larger than life. DC characters, to me, feel...
and they spent 4 years doing it.
Right, but even before that, that, I still felt very grounded watching Iron Man 1. I didn't feel like I was watching, like, I not grounded. I feel like these characters are larger than life because of the way they're portrayed. So, like, you know, you're looking at these Iron Man movies, you're looking at Captain America, you're looking at Thor, you're looking at these larger than life characters in these larger than life worlds because they invested time to build them. When you look at DC, I feel like DC spent their time trying to be more grounded. When you look at the Nolan series and you look at the other stuff that DC did, so when they're telling these small contained stories of Birds of Prey or Aquaman, which was a huge scope but not so big, or they're telling like Wonder Woman, these things don't have these grand scales where they're lifting cities and killing billions of people. They're small scale stories. And then when you get into these Justice Leagues, they can't pull it together. They're either over the top, so big, they don't know where the fuck they're going, or they're just these small self-contained stories. And if they told more stories like Shazam, like Birds of Prey, like Aquaman, they're gonna do way better. And Marvel can't do that, because if you look at Thor: Dark World, you look at Thor, you look at I didn't like Captain Marvel. You look at these certain movies in Marvel where they're these small scale, they suck. Thor Ragnarok, best Thor movie, fantastic. So it's just they're two completely different companies that are great at telling stories in different ways. That's why DC movies work great on TV. That's why The Flash and Arrow work, because they're small contained stories spread out over time.
Yeah, completely agree.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
All right, let's move on to the next thing, which I never saw coming. I don't know what the hell happened here, but I guess it makes sense because the WWE's always had a relationship with NBC with, Saturday Night Main Event. And
I'm happy about this. I'm really happy about this.
Yeah. Apparently the WWE Network is going to be rolled into Peacock. Now, I did not read this article, so you need to kind of fill me in on this. Does this mean WWE Network as a standalone is going away?
Yes, because this is what they're doing with Discovery. With CBS All Access is going away as well.
Yeah, it's being rolled into Paramount Plus,
right?
Or
and that
other way around.
Paramount Plus is going to be the new streaming service, and they're just kind of combining them into one because right now the streaming market is completely oversaturated. I've been a WWE fan since fucking Bret Hart, since fucking the early 90s, man. I've been watching wrestling, and I canceled my subscription because I don't give a shit enough about WWE to watch it anymore. Like, it's in to pay the extra money. Same. So this is going to be great for them because how many people are going to be going on there to watch This Is Us or The Office and be like, oh shit, look, The Rock, and they're going to start watching wrestling, then they're going to start investing longer into it, and vice versa. How many wrestling fans out there will see Reno 911 and start watching it or something,
So how are they going to do pay-per-views? I assume it's just going to be a standalone purchase via Peacock?
Nope, they're all included.
Oh, just okay, so literally exactly how WWE Network
It's going to be the exact same, and then starting in 2022, they're going to start releasing their own, it's like a documentary once a year on the Peacock Network. So it's going to include...
Also kind of like the WWE 24 stuff that's on right now?
Yep. And it's gonna be all their library. It literally is just going to be NBC just sucking over WWE Network, which is great because it's included with the $5 a month. So if you already got Peacock, or you're paying,
that's the big thing. It's not increasing in price, which is kind of a huge deal.
Which is crazy because, again, while WWE, I'm not really invested in it, and I'm way more.
Keep talking. I gotta pee.
Yeah, also, I'm way more into AEW and stuff like that now. Anyways, but I think that with this right here, it's going to draw more attention to WWE because now that I'm not paying for the network, I don't watch any of the shit they have on there. I don't watch any of the 24, the Untold. I don't really care about that, and I've missed the last couple pay-per-views because they haven't been interesting enough for me. But I think with this going on to Peacock, it might actually be worth the money. Because right now I don't use Peacock for much of anything. Yeah, we're just going to have to edit this out.
Alright, sorry about that, folks. That's what 4 cups of coffee in the morning will do to you.
That is true.
So, on the topic of Peacock, I subscribed to it. Or, the free one, obviously. I'm not paying another fucking $5, even if it is just $5. I subscribed to it when it first launched because I was like, oh, I'm going to watch Parks and Rec. But then I realized Parks and Rec was on Netflix, so I was like, okay, there's no reason for me to have this.
Yep.
I basically use Peacock up to this point. I use it as my Saved by the Bell device. or app. That's it. That's the only thing I watch on there. I don't even watch Saved by the Bell much. And I'm not talking about the new one. That's absolute horseshit, by the way. We're talking about the old 90s one with the neon and, you know, the bad dream sequences and all that. So that's all I use Peacock for. As far as WWE Network being rolled into it, you know, I'm like you. I can't, you know, I'll pop it on every now and then just to see what's going on. And it's not great. No. I would only ever use it to watch old pay-per-views. Like if I'm in the mood, I'll watch Triple H Cactus Jack from Royal Rumble 2000.
There you go. But that's
Which, by the way, is still one of the bloodiest fucking matches I've ever seen out of any, even including like ECW.
Oh, I know. That thing was brutal, man. That's where you got to give Triple H his props for what he was doing.
That was a manly blade job he did.
Yeah. You know, people give Triple H shit for being slow and methodical and probably the most boring wrestler of all time. But, dude, man, he put his body out there and, you know, he wrestled fucking...
He's the cerebral assassin.
He wrestled just a couple weeks ago on Raw, man. I mean, he's legit, dude. He knows what he's doing.
He's still going, huh?
WWE will become better. It will get better. I have hopes for them. They're quote unquote too big to fail. So I think that with AEW creeping up on them, I think with Triple H getting more into the role of writing and taking over with Paul Heyman back there, I think we're going to start seeing changes for them. And I'm excited because, like we said, Triple H is a fucking beast. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to do this. So let him fucking do it.
I mean, just look at what he did with NXT. He managed to build what was essentially their developmental territory into a fucking worldwide global third brand.
Yep. So
in what, 2 years?
Yeah, I think
3 years, something like that.
When is WrestleMania this year?
This year?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure April sometime. It's still going to be at Raymond James, I believe.
Yeah.
Probably going to be similar to what it was last year.
Because it's WrestleMania 37, right?
Yes.
Okay, so April 10th. Because I'm looking here, and it looks like that the WWE Network on Peacock, their first pay-per-view event is going to be, what the fuck is it? Oh, Fastlane, which is March 21st, which is their go-home pay-per-view before WrestleMania. So, this WrestleMania coming up, WrestleMania 37, is going to be free for every single person who has the Peacock network.
So what's their... I'm trying to think. What's their February pay-per-view? You have Royal Rumble in January. I always thought Fastlane was in February, but it's in March. Is it Elimination
Payback.
Chamber?
Is it Payback?
No, Payback's after WrestleMania.
Oh, yeah. Elimination Chamber?
I think it's eliminated, but then they don't even market that as like a real pay-per-view. That's always like the past couple of years. It's been like a network thing that's only like an hour long. Because I remember growing up, it was January Royal Rumble, February No Way Out, March WrestleMania.
Let me see what it is.
That's always what I remember.
It is Elimination Chamber, February 21st.
Oh, well, there you go.
So,
okay, I was just curious because you said Fastlane March. I was like, but wait a minute.
Yeah. Well, no. Then the reason I'm saying this is because I haven't been excited. And WWE's ratings have been dropping off, and they've been doing this kind of stuff. So I was just kind of looking at this article again, which leads me to believe that this WrestleMania might. I don't know, man. I might actually get invested back in WWE coming up because they're giving us the Go Home show, the Go Home pay-per-view for free on Fastlane, and then they're giving everybody WrestleMania April, which would be 3 weeks after Fastlane. So, dude, I don't know. That's kind of, it's really weird for them to do.
Well, they have a lot more writing on this WrestleMania as well because since they're on Peacock now, we're talking a significantly larger audience than they have just through pay-per-view buys and the network on its own. I mean, we're talking, your regular, casual, never watch wrestling fans that are going to at least see some sort of... I don't know, some sort of advertising, some sort of splash screen when they log on to Peacock, for WrestleMania. Well, so they're going to have a huge reach this time around.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So, like, I'm sitting here thinking, like, man, I wonder what they're going to do. And then I'm starting to think, like, oh, man, this is actually going to be crazy for them next year because imagine, WrestleMania 38, when fans are back in stadiums, people got vaccines, the world's kind of moving again.
We'll be there.
Yeah, well, fuck yeah, we will. And then, this, I don't know, I'm getting excited about this again. My voice is getting high. I'm getting excited. Okay, anyway, sorry about that. I was just doing time inside my head. Let's move on. Where are we going?
let's move on. So it was announced a couple days ago that HBO Max will be doing a live-action Harry Potter series.
Boo.
Who saw that coming?
Nobody, and it should be the same amount of people who actually want that.
So here's the thing. Do you follow IGN?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So in like 2004 or 2005, I don't remember, they started doing this thing every April Fool's Day where they would release like a fake trailer for something.
Yes.
Like a really well-made one. I remember they did a fake trailer for a live-action Legend of Zelda show and so on and so forth. Now, the only one I ever fell for, because most of the time you look at these trailers and you're like, well, this is pretty obviously for April Fools. The only time I fell for one was because A, I forgot it was April Fool's Day, and B, it was such a well-made trailer for a live-action, Law and Order styled adult Harry Potter show about the Aurors.
Wait, what?
And it was a dope-ass trailer. Really? And I seriously thought it was going to be a thing.
That's weird. See, I'm kind of I love the Harry Potter books. I love the Harry Potter movies. I am kind of over J.K. Rowling. I am over this wizarding world.
Anybody with a conscience, I think, is.
Right. Stuff right now. And I'm getting tired, and again, could just be me, but I'm getting very tired where we're at the point that we're just continuously drawing out the same shit. HBO already has a new Game of Thrones show coming out, Game of Thrones House of Dragon. So, alright, so instead of getting anything new, they're bringing something back that's extremely familiar to millions of people, hoping to draw in the same viewers to give them something slightly different.
That's been pop culture for years now, dipping into the well.
It has, and it's very frustrating. So with this right here, cool, man. Like, I'll check it out. But what are we talking here? Are we talking we're rebooting Harry Potter already, and we're just going to tell the same stories slower? Is J.K. Rowling writing new stories? Because the last movie that she did, The Crimes of Grindelwald, was a convoluted just whatever. And this is when she's a screenwriter. This is what you're seeing. So why are we doing this? Is there anything else that she can do, or any other things that we could tap into?
No, I don't think it's that. I mean, obviously, there's virtually zero information on this series right now, but it looks like it's either going to be, what does it say right here? Oh, so it doesn't even say anything. I think the general consensus, if being a fanboy, fangirl, is to come into play here, it's going to be the story of the Harry Potter universe prior to Harry and Ron and all of them. So it's going to be like a young James Potter, a young Sirius Black, or something that happens afterwards.
Which again,
I don't know. Are you excited for the Hogwarts Legacy game?
Yes and no.
Okay. Explain.
Yes, I am, because, dude, an RPG game like that, I think it's going to be fucking dope. I like where that's going, and I love those kind of games. To me, those kind of games are fun. It looks like there's going to be puzzles involved. I mean, I know this is going to sound kind of whack, but to me, a very high standard Harry Potter game is the Harry Potter Lego games. I fucking love the Harry Potter Lego games. And as far as I'm concerned, that is what the Harry Potter games were made for, is for that kind of Lego fun, because the Harry Potter is supposed to be kind of fun and dark and whatever, but that's fun for me. So I'm looking forward to this game for that aspect, yes. Because of the whole magic, wizards, Harry Potter, stuff like that. I'm not looking forward to kind of it being the same story and the same Harry Potter stuff. And I need more. And that's where I had high hopes for the Fantastic Beast when that first started. And I was like, oh man, this is going to be so cool. And it was, because it was different in the same world. But then the second story kind of turned into the same, more of the same, and completely
brought Dumbledore back and everything.
Right, and I'm just like, I want something different. You have this wizarding world, and you're showing me the same two cities and same school. What else is there? And if you can do that, then tell me. And that's why I think we'll get to this later, but this is why I like WandaVision. This is why I like, because there's so much more in those worlds than what you're telling us, and I think this is great if you're going to do it in the world of wizards and magic, and you have like a nod and a wink to Harry Potter, and that's it. But I'm just nervous about what they're gonna do.
So how do you feel about that Lord of the Rings show from Prime?
So
You excited for it? Not excited?
I'm excited for it because Lord of the Rings to me is something that needs to be extended and drawn out and told in long form format, which is why the extended editions of the movies are way better than the theater versions of the movies, which is why I'll sit there.
That's the thing. The Lord of the Rings has such a huge library of books expanding on the universe dating back decades. So, I mean, we're talking about a universe that exists that already has been expanded upon. So you can much more easily draw from a much larger well, to create spin-off series.
Right, and when you look at even like with The Boys, for instance, like there is so much Marvel and comic book and superhero stuff everywhere that when you hear about The Boys, you're like, oh, but when you watch The Boys, it's completely different, and you have no problem sitting down watching and binging the entire first season because it's very, very familiar. But it's the exact opposite of what you would ever expect it to be. And it's freaking
I have
great.
got to get you the Boys comic series. I have to find it in graphic, like a collected edition or something like that, because you just have got to. There is an entire story arc, and I believe they confirmed that they are pulling this into the third season. To what capacity, I don't know. But there's an entire story arc where all the heroes, the Seven, and some other heroes that are not involved, including a group called the G-Men, which is like their X-Men, they go to some like secluded island under the guise of this is like some training facility. We're going to take a couple weeks off to do some training and blah, blah, blah. And what it actually ends up being is like just basically 24/7 orgy and cocaine and all that stuff. And it's like 3 issues of just complete debauchery, and the story arc itself is actually called Herogasm.
That's a long orgy.
Dude, I believe they're gonna pull from that arc in some capacity for season 3, if I read correctly.
Now that right there, that's dope because that's completely different storytelling than what we're used to, and I like that, and I want to be excited for Harry Potter, and I want to be excited for this, and I want to be excited for the game, but it's very, 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 very hard when every single thing that we're being hit with right now is based off of some property that we all invested tons of time into 15, 20 years ago. I've already read all the Harry Potter books. I've already seen all the movies. What more are you going to tell me of the exact same fucking stories that I've already seen? When it comes to Lord of the Rings, those Lord of the Rings movies were great. The expanded ones were even better. The Hobbit trilogies were okay, but how do you expand the smallest book into 3 movies? It doesn't work.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. But I mean, but apparently a lot of people thought that. But you can retell the Lord of the Rings in long story format, and it will work because there's so much to those worlds, and you could tell a slow burning story and still have it lead to something. I mean, fuck, a movie where everybody, including the trees, fucking just walked and had conversations won an Oscar. Like, because you can tell a story that way. So I'm okay with that, and I'm looking forward to the Harry Potter game, just like I'm looking forward to Gotham Knights, and I'm looking forward to the Suicide Squad game, and I can't wait for more Marvel, and I can't wait for more of it. But just like with Snyder Justice League, I'm so excited, but I'm apprehensive because I feel like, again, we're not where they're just rebooting everything. We're at the point where they're just literally putting a shine of polish on it, and they're selling us the exact same shit that we bought 15 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I guess we'll have to wait and see. We don't know anything about this Harry Potter show, so I'm hoping it's not more of the same. I'm hoping they have this, for lack of a better phrase, they have this playground.
Yeah. To
play around in. Don't just show me one part of it.
Right. Well, I want there to be more chances, and like Suicide Squad, big chance. I'm sorry, not the Guardians of the Galaxy. Huge chance with Chris Pratt and Dave Bautista, and you launch this completely different type of movie with a completely different type of director, and you get the Guardians of the fucking Galaxy. So, it's okay to take chances on these obscure known things. Have J.K. Rowling come in and say, look, this is your world. Here's Hogwarts. Here's your entire wizarding world. Now give it to us, because it's like WWE having the WWE Universe. How are you going to have a universe but nothing exist outside of your 16 by 16 square foot ring? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So I'm excited, but dude, if they're going to sell us a Harry Potter game that's just a 4K better version of the Harry Potter Lego game, they can suck my left nut, because that's not what I want.
All right, well, since we're on the topic of HBO Max, let's move on to this next piece of news. Batman the Animated Series getting a sequel series for HBO Max.
Good.
What do you think of that?
I fucking love this because Batman the Animated Series gave us Kevin Conroy, it gave us fucking Mark Hamill, and if it wasn't for the animated series, Harley Quinn would not exist. Harley Quinn wasn't a comic book character. She was created in like the 4th episode of season 1 of Batman the Animated Series with Joe. It's fantastic, and that's the way Batman needs to be told. I can't speak highly enough about the animated series. It was, this is going to sound stupid, but when I was younger, parents worked, we were at daycare and stuff, and I remember sitting there, and this was like my escape after school. This was my oh my God, there's Batman, the Joker, there's Catwoman, there's Commission. It's so good, man, and I'm excited, dude.
Now, this is firmly in the rumor territory, but Kevin Smith has basically, in the interview where he brought this up, he's basically being super obvious about it with his wink, wink, nod, nod, type of response. Mm-hmm. So it's not 100% sure that this is happening, but it's, at this point, pretty much looking like it will.
Yes. And Kevin Smith is... I love Kevin Smith. I'm a Kevin Smith fanboy. One of my prized possessions is... the Jay and Silent Bob reboot script that you got me that's autographed by Jason Mewes and Kevin Smith. Yeah. Like, that to me is... Kevin Smith is somebody that I don't care anybody says, man, he's made some fucking terrible movies. But, dude, he's done it because he's wanted to, and he's done it his way. He's been unapologetic, and he's been fucking awesome, and he's living out all of our fantasies. Like, I mean, he's getting to make He-Man. He got to make fucking Tusk. He got to do Yoga Hosers. He got to make Clerks and go into debt. And then, I mean, he went from doing that to filming his daughter and Johnny Depp's daughter in a movie. The dude is an aspiration. And there is this Tough Shit is a book by Kevin Smith. I don't know if you've ever read it.
No, I know of it, but I've never read it.
I've read the book twice, and both times I've cried at that book. It is a very fucking good book. So anything that Kevin Smith talks about, man, I hold in high regard, like some people do with Joe Rogan. And so I mean, I'm excited for this, man, especially if you have someone like Kevin Smith and Mark Bernardin, who is just a Batman aficionados. They're great. Mark Bernardin does still comic books. He was writing on that Hulu show for a while, that one about Stephen King. I can't think of the name of it. Anyways, though, man.
Wait, what Hulu show?
It was a show on Hulu, and it was based off of Stephen King books, and it had all of his stuff involved.
Oh, the Kennedy one?
No, it was a different one.
Oh.
That one was 1962 with James Franco.
Yes, that's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah, no, there was another one.
It was not that one?
No, it was another one, but like it took place in a town, and the name of the show was after the town, and it had all of Stephen King's like characters were in this town or whatever. But it was just I can't remember. I watched a couple episodes.
Oh shit.
But I like them, man. I'm really good. So what do you think, bro? Because like I feel like I'm telling you that this is how you should feel, but I want to know how you feel. Tell me how you feel. Speak to me. Talk to me. Whisper.
No, this is, Batman the Animated Series is just like you, something I grew up with. I remember, rushing home from school when I was in elementary school, and that was one of the shows I look forward to seeing the most after homework. I mean, it's to this day, I can still binge watch that show like I hadn't skipped a beat. My fucking kids love it. It's in terms of all the Batman media franchises, I guess you can say, other than the comics, I mean, this is pretty much the pinnacle right here.
Yeah.
I mean, even when you take into account the Nolan movies and all that stuff like that, the animated series is the pinnacle. I mean, you have the definitive Batman voice right there.
Yeah.
When you say Batman and I picture him speaking in my head, it's always going to be Kevin Conroy's voice. Dude, always.
Absolutely. I was blown away when I found out that Mark Hamill was the Joker. I know, me too.
I
didn't find that out until after years later because, again, this is going to sound stupid, but I remember when I saw Mark Hamill as a Cockknocker in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Yep.
I saw him and I was like, dude, what the fuck has Mark Hamill been up to after Star Wars? I was like, man, he's really kind of slumming it into a Kevin Smith movie. And then I was like, wait, he was the Joker in the end? What the fuck? And then I went back and I was like, oh my God, I've missed out on so much Mark Hamill. Where have I been? I honestly thought he just kind of burned out, but Mark Hamill's a pop culture god as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, he is.
dude. Like, and it's
I found out that Mark Hamill was the Joker when I was back in the day when I was playing Wing Commander 3 on my PC, and he was the star of that game.
oh yeah,
You remember that game?
Yeah,
With the full motion video cutscenes. Yeah, and then I kind of got back into like this Mark Hamill fandom just based off of the game because I was a huge Wing Commander mark. And then I found out he was the Joker, and it just blew my mind.
Mark Hamill is somebody that I would love to meet and just like sit down and like eat a sandwich with. You know, like not like get drunk or rush to a cup of coffee, but sit down, just sit across, man, have a couple eat a sandwich, and just have a conversation with man. Like, how are you, man? How's your life, man? How's family? How's everything, dude? Like, just tell me about you. And then I would hug him. Like, I would want to hug him. Mark Hamill's like, and he'll never hear this, so it won't make it awkward if I ever meet him. But yeah, like, if I met Mark Hamill, if he went to shake my hand, I'd slap it and give him a hug.
Alrighty, sorry about that, folks. For some reason, my recording just randomly stopped. This episode is going to be super fun to edit.
Guys, bear with us, man. We're holding up. We're doing this for you guys. So just give Tony some slack, all right? I didn't want this to be easy for him, so I'm trying to do every single thing I can to fuck it up on his end, so he has to work harder.
Apparently. So somehow you used your mind bullets to fuck up my laptop.
Yep, I called your neighbor. I'm the one who told him to go over there and ask for something. I'm all on board with it. I'm doing this, man.
Oh man. Okay, yeah, this is gonna be fun to edit. Anyways, so Batman the Animated Series getting heavily rumored to be getting a sequel series. So I mean, I assume Bruce Timm will be involved. I assume good things. So
I say bring it on.
Let's move on to this next thing because this was heavily in the realm of rumor for the longest time, and I don't think we ever got official confirmation of any of this happening. But now we're getting like set pictures and set reports that this is actually true. And sounds like Charlie Cox is not only for sure joining Spider-Man 3 now, but he has wrapped filming.
That's
and on that note, Alfred Molina as well, because Zendaya just released the thing where she was like, oh, I had so much fun with him on set. He's such a nice man. So, I mean, Alfred Molina, I guess, is also confirmed as being back as Octavius in some form. We don't know if, it's like another universe version of him, or if it's going to be the Raimi universe version of him, but these things are apparently happening for real.
Dude, I think that we're going to get Charlie Cox is going to show up as Spider-Man's lawyer.
Yep.
I think that Spider-Man's going to have no idea that he's Daredevil, and I think that it's going to be a not a buddy comedy, but kind of a I'm trying to think of the words to describe it. But I think we're gonna have kind of the two of them trying to. I just think it's gonna be fun. I think it's gonna be a little funnier, a little more lighthearted than we're expecting. But I mean, so Alfred Molina, I think is the cool part because I loved him as Octavius. But is he gonna be the bad guy?
That's what we don't know. If he's like another universe version of him, he very well be like a good Octavius. Who knows?
But they haven't announced a villain for this one, right?
Well, Jamie Foxx.
Well, I mean, Jamie Foxx, right?
I assume Jamie Foxx is a villain, if not the villain, and then you're going to have whoever the villain's going to end up being due to, Peter's identity now being known.
Well,
possibly Alfred Molina as Doc Ock. I don't know. They haven't said this is the villain.
Well, that's what's kind of weird because I know that we keep getting all these massive announcements for it. So I'm just trying to think off the top of my head how this can work. But if this is what somebody had called ever since day one, and everybody did, we want Charlie Cox to be his attorney because Jake Gyllenhaal went out with Spider-Man as Peter Parker. He's done all of this. Which...
Did you also see the leaks from yesterday from the set down in Atlanta? There's a truck with Feast on the side. So there's some ties to Miles Morales and the PS4, PS5 game as well.
Yeah. So, I mean, they know what they're doing, and they're going to keep all of this stuff working, which is going to be fine. I just don't see Molina being the main bad, but I also don't see Jamie Foxx not being the lead bad because he's an Oscar winner. So I feel like you're going to have Jamie Foxx in here, but we've already seen that. So my question is this going to be like a courtroom legal drama kind of thing? Because we still got Michael Keaton who's been kind of hanging out there for a while. So what are we going to get? And I'm intrigued. I'm really, really intrigued and excited for it. But I wish they would give us a little bit more, because if we're going to get Jamie Foxx as the same Electro doing this, and is this just their way of writing out all the past Spider-Mans, and we're going to go through and see these things again because we're getting two different universes Spider-Man? So is there going to be one where he goes through because Doc Ock shows up and all of a sudden, like they did in Avengers Endgame, we're going back in time and we're seeing Spider-Man fight Doc Ock, except it's now Tom Holland?
I don't know. Also take into account that this is supposed to be one part of the 3-part, quote, multiverse trilogy that encompasses this movie, the new Doctor Strange movie, and WandaVision. So that is going to heavily play into this as well.
That's true, man. And that's where it's kind of exciting. Like, I don't know. I'm excited.
I like
dude.
not knowing.
That's what it is. I like not knowing. But I wish we just knew more about, like, who the head bad guy was. Because if we know that, then I know where we're going. Because, I mean, we also know that Tobey Maguire has been suited. We also know that you've got Andrew Garfield, who's been spotted. We know that all of these people are floating around all these Marvel properties, just kind of waiting to see what happens. And I'm curious if this is where it is. If I don't know. I don't know. I'm excited.
I just want a post-credit scene after all this, after Spider-Man 3 ends and the first set of credits roll. I just want a post-credit scene where Tom Holland, Peter Parker, is talking with Ned. They're walking down the street and whatever, you know, his name is cleared, whatever. And he bumps into someone on the street. He goes, "Oh, excuse me, man." And the guy says, no problem. Turns around and it's Tom Hardy.
That'd be pretty badass.
That's what I want as a post-credit scene.
Exactly. Like, we need Tom Hardy back. People can say what they want to say, but that Venom movie was fucking bomb, dude. Tom Hardy as Venom in San Francisco was so good.
Yeah, I loved it. I mean, it's Tom Hardy. It's. I mean, he played. The movie was the type of, you know, I don't know. I put it kind of up alongside something like Ghost Rider. It's bad but good.
See, I put it up there along the lines of Aquaman.
Which was bad but good.
Well, yeah, but see, I thought Aquaman was a great standalone movie, and that's what I thought about Venom. Like, because Venom went into it hands-free, wasn't tied to anything. Also, lest we forget, Woody Harrelson is playing Carnage.
Yeah.
So there is so much happening, but what I'm hoping is that Charlie Cox plays a role in Spider-Man 3 more than just a 30-second cameo as Peter Parker's attorney, because
I know, I agree.
So I don't know. I think that we're going to have
I want him to show up as Daredevil at some point in the movie.
And there's no way
he can't just be Matt Murdock.
Right, and there's no way they're going to let him sit in jail, you know, Doctor Strange and everything else. So I don't know. I think it'll be good. I'm excited for it.
So let's move on then, since we talked about WandaVision, to the first 4 episodes. Now, people listening, if you haven't seen the first 4 episodes, know now that this goes into some heavy spoiler territory. So if you don't want WandaVision spoiled, I would jump ahead. You know, I don't know how long we're going to be talking about this, but jump ahead. So you have been warned. Spoilers following.
Spoilers.
So we called it. We called almost everything in this show, and I'm not yanking our own chains or anything. I mean, this is not stuff that everyone else didn't also predict, but we were right about the false reality, the twins, Sword, all that shit. But my God, this show is a mindfuck, and in the best way.
It is, man. And what's crazy is that I tried to tell my brother to watch it, so he watched the first 2 episodes and said he was super bored and didn't get into it. But episode 3 and then episode 4 just completely blew the doors off of everything. And excuse me, it is so well done. There is so much being told. The action is great, and it's funny because the movie when you just said it in episode 4, like when we were watching it, you know, Darcy and Detective Wu are sitting there and she's watching. She's like, "Oh, it took place in the 50s, 60s, 70s. So what's next?" Is just, like, their commentary was the same commentary we all had on the show. It's like,
yeah, it's super meta, dude. The funniest line was when they were talking about having kids, and she was like, "You want one?"
Right.
And Wu was like, "Yeah, I could see a bunch of little Jimmy Woos." Oh, you mean the chip? Yes.
The chip, yeah, yes. Dude, right? It was fucking great, dude. And he's still doing card tricks like that he was trying to learn from Ant-Man. Like, it's fucking hilarious. And it's still the same card. Like, dude, it's just so well done, and it's such a good show. And I've told you when I've talked about this podcast before, I hate waiting weekly for episodes to show up, and I hate waiting for it. But WandaVision is the perfect show because I want to talk about it at the end of every episode. I haven't been this confused.
It gives you time to digest.
Right, and I haven't been this confused or this excited since, Lost, and they discovered the fucking hatch. And what's on the hatch? Like,
Yep.
Like, the Beekeeper, which I thought was fucking phenomenal the way they did that.
Yeah, I think we all thought it was AIM.
Yes.
And then it wasn't.
It wasn't. And then the helicopter with the sword on it, and then you see them putting the drone in there, and they're like, "Oh, why did it change? It changed with the times." And then there is the force field, which leads me to believe. So, is this force field? Who has this force field around Wanda, and why are they protecting everybody from her? And why are these select people who are all from New Jersey here in this town?
Yeah. I think that force field. I think it's Wanda. She's created the force field. She created this town. Sword somehow infiltrated it with all these actors that they, revealed in episode 4. I think Vision. This is just me pulling stuff out of my ass, but I think the Vision that's in the show is not only just in her mind. I think she somehow has reanimated dead Vision, and he's like a Vision puppet that she's controlling.
Well, we just saw that in episode 4. Well,
we saw him. Well, we saw that little, I guess, nightmare flash or whatever that it was. So exactly, which is why it leads me to think. I mean, not only is this in her head, but I think she's fucking puppeting a dead Vision.
Right. Well, see, that's where I think that she went into this town. I think that she just ended up in this house. And she's gone crazy, and somebody else has this force field around her to protect other people. I don't think it has anything...
Who do you think it is?
I don't know. See, I texted you this the other day, and I was like, well, what if this is a way to introduce X-Men or Fantastic Four or something else into this? Because I went through and we were watching... I started Age of Ultron last night just to show my oldest, like, look, check out the beginning of Avengers 2. And the same force field that was around... the place they were going...
Strucker's,
yes.
Strucker's Chateau or whatever.
Right. The same stuff. My daughter was like, hey, that's the same thing in WandaVision. I was like, holy crap, you're right. So, like, is there some other kind of technology? And I don't think that Wanda would... I think that maybe she's controlling, the aspects of her life to find the perfect happy time. But I think that she's trapped here as much as everybody else. So
do you think Sword is making the force field, or do you think it's like a third party, like maybe the introduction of AIM?
I think it's the introduction of the mutant verse. I think that this is how we're going to get into a Professor X or something, because it could be like, and this is just me like reaching out,
like
very
a mind
hard.
Field or something,
right? Because this is the same thing that Professor X would have done to Phoenix to try to control her, and that's what I started thinking when I was going over the X-Men movies. When you think about it, like when Phoenix started losing all of her powers, or when Jean Grey started going crazy and started becoming Phoenix, Xavier was trying to control her mind and put her into these environments to keep her safe where she couldn't hurt anybody. She couldn't hurt herself or anybody else, but to her, everything was normal. So that's what I'm thinking. Maybe that's what we're going to get here, because if Wanda, the barrier doesn't make any sense. It does, but it doesn't. Almost like she doesn't know it's there, but she's a product of it. Like, she's not doing it.
Yeah, she does but doesn't, kind of.
Right. She's living her life, and she's making all of this stuff up, but she can't control her powers. So that's why the whole neighborhood had the power go out. And that's why, the neighbors are like, oh, well, we're all here because and they can't say it. So why are they all there? Are they all there because of Wanda? Is their job there to protect her? Because, Sword was just as confused. They were like, what the fuck is going on? The police are like, this town's not here. I'm from Eastview. So either that town existed, Wanda ended up there, and somebody's erasing it from everybody's mind, like, you don't see this, like Professor X could, or like, to hide it, or is she just making up this massive fake town, which... that doesn't make any sense. It would.
You know what would be my ultimate nerdgasm version of this?
Huh.
My ultimate nerdgasm version of this would be that we finally are. This is finally revealed way down the line that part of this is done, but because of Professor X, he's the one that's erasing it from everyone's memories because that's on brand from him.
Yep.
For him, and the actual tech behind the force field is done by Reed Richards.
That
That would be my ultimate version.
Dude, and that's the way that's the way to do it. And if Disney's smart with these properties, they can roll out an X-Men show, because the best thing that was ever X-Men was the X-Men animated series, which was like Disney Plus's most watched show when it first released on Disney Plus, because everybody fucking loved it. Why not bring back a good X-Men TV show, which you're showing you can do with WandaVision? So you bring in your James McAvoy or your few other people from X-Men First Class or who was there, and you bring them into the TV. You can do it. I don't know how, but do it. But that's what
an X-Men show could work, because The Gifted was a fantastic show, and I'm kind of sad it didn't last longer than it did. And but The Gifted and Legion were fantastic X-Men shows.
Well, they did one,
so it absolutely can work.
They did one early in the 90s too, and it was it wasn't the X-Men. It was like Class X or X Class, something like that.
It was Generation X.
Is that what it was?
Yep, Generation X.
I
remember that
and
show.
It was only a couple episodes, and the only thing I remember was like one of the girls, her mutant power was like she was super muscular. So like, I just remember bits and pieces.
And I think Jubilee was in it, wasn't she?
Yes, and it was just ahead of its.
I remember that show.
It was ahead of its time, but I've never forgotten it. So I think that Disney can do that. And when you look at this, it kind of reminds me of the Professor X that we saw in Logan. He knew that he was losing his powers. He knew what he was having to do, so they had to control him and keep him safe. So you build this force field over here when you have the world's greatest scientists. You have your Bruce Banners, and you have your Reed Richards, and you have your Doctor Doom before he became Doctor Doom. I forgot what Von Doom.
Victor Von Doom.
Yes, you have your Professor Xavier's, and bring them in here and bring this in, because that's what we're seeing with WandaVision, man. And I didn't think that I would be this excited for it. I mean, I'm excited because it's a show that me and my 10-year-old, my 11-year-old get to watch together. It's like our show, but it is so fucking well done, and I have so many questions, and I'm so excited about it.
Yeah, it is well done. I love a good mystery, and this show has it in spades. So I mean, yeah, good on them, man. And this just gives me hope for all the other Marvel Disney Plus shows that are coming out. You know, like Miss Marvel, Hawkeye, all that stuff.
Yeah. I was apprehensive about how this was going to work, the show, and people are trying to pick it apart on TV. Oh, $25 million an episode, and you can spot this, and this show's garbage. You know what, man? Friends was costing people like $10 million an episode, over the fuck it was. Like, just calm down, all right? We're going to get there. It's just starting. That's an average. And I love it, man. They're spending their money wisely, and I, like you said, man, I can't wait for the next Disney Plus ventures, because speaks back to what I said. It's the same characters, but a completely different world. It's a completely different everything. It's not Wanda and Vision from Infinity War or from Endgame. It's a completely different everything, just two familiar characters. That's it.
Yeah. And it was super cool seeing the blip in reverse.
Yes. That blew my mind.
Trippy.
Like, I was sitting there on the couch, and my daughter kind of turned to me, and she's like, "Is that them coming back?" And inside the hospital, dude, that was nuts. My jaw was dropped. I was like, "Oh my God, this is so cool."
Can you imagine blipping and then coming back, and then you came back to COVID?
Dude, I know. It'd be like, we were... or blip and you come back and you're still in COVID. You're like, God, we didn't get ahead of this? Really? Guys, it was 5 years. Dude, no, it's
so let's move on to some gaming news.
Yes.
And, we had a pretty big announcement a couple of weeks ago with a really sweet trailer. It was only like 10 seconds long, but it certainly got me excited. Bethesda and LucasArts apparently is back, doing a new Indiana Jones game. What do you think of that?
Dude, now this is fucking dope. And I'm going to tell you why.
Yeah.
Because Indiana Jones is... Before I say this, Harrison Ford is a god, because he's been a grumpy, disgruntled, angry old man since he was 19 years old. And he has been the greatest characters. He's been Blade Runner. He's been Harrison... he's been, my God, Indiana Jones. He's been fucking Han Solo. This is Harrison Ford. The fact that we're getting a new game that's going to be based off of an original Indiana Jones story, from what I'm getting, with LucasArts, is fantastic. This is what...
And on that note, one of the free games with gold for February is the OG Xbox Indiana Jones and the Emperor's Tomb, which I fucking loved.
Yes.
Wasn't even a great game, but I loved it.
Right, and that's... And there was... Is that the one where it's the third person point of view with Indiana Jones?
Yep.
Yes. Okay, good. Because I was like, I'm going to download that today. Again, another prime example of a great fun game is Lego Indiana Jones. That shit is fun as fuck. And it was before they had the voice acting and everything else. Dude, I am so excited about this because I love Indiana Jones. I think every adult male our age loves Indiana Jones. Like, he was...
So what do you think it's going to be? Is it going to be like an Uncharted style game, you think?
Yes.
Maybe with less platforming?
Yes and no. I think we're going to get that, but it's also done by Machine Games. And they did the Wolfenstein New Colossus, which was a fucking great game, and Wolfenstein New Order. So they're more along...
Well, are they doing it? Yeah, I guess they...
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing that.
Because it's working with... They're doing it with Bethesda, Lucasfilms, and Machine Games.
Okay.
So,
well, Machine Games certainly knows they're Nazis.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. So they know it. So I think that we're going to get an Uncharted meets Doom meets just this new world. Dude, I'm really, really, really excited. And what's cool about Machine Games, what they do is that they build these dope environments that fit the style of games they're doing. Like... Yeah,
I completely agree.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that if you know what I'm saying, then like I said, you agree. And they're really good at that. Like when they did with their Wolfensteins and the way Bethesda did the thing. So I'm really excited for what they're going to do because I think that they can build an environment that will fit in with the environment from the Indiana Jones movies. Yeah. So it'll be a very familiar feeling. Just like with Uncharted looks and feels like these great Indiana Jones epics, but they're not knockoff or ripoffs because they're shot and they're filmed and they're done their own way. So I think that they're going to be able to nail this where it's going to feel like an Indiana Jones game, not just someone putting a fedora and a whip in the hands of fucking BJ Blazkowicz from Wolfenstein. So
I agree. I think it's going to have a similar concept to Uncharted.
Absolutely.
In terms of it's going to be a third-person action adventure. I don't think there's going to be much, if any, platforming because that's not really something indie does. So you're not going to have all the, cliff climbing and trying to climb up vines and all that shit.
No, you'll have puzzles.
But I think it's going to be a much, and I hate describing it like this, but it's the only thing I can think of right now. I think it's going to be a much slower paced Uncharted / Tomb Raider style game with a heavy emphasis on puzzles.
Yeah, you might be right. Which is fine.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but also, I mean, I'm just curious if they're going to lean more into, like, a younger version of Indiana Jones, so we're going to get more of an Uncharted series, or if we're going to get, like more of an earlier Tomb Raider where there's a lot more puzzles and it's more archaeology, fist-fighting kind of on the way. Or if they're going to try to stick to more of like a new age Indiana Jones, but it's going to be an original story, and LucasArts is going to be involved. George Lucas really kind of likes doing Indiana Jones and alien stuff. I think if they stick to Nazis, they stick to just a good they stick to the familiar characters, and they expand on this universe they have, then that's going to be fantastic. I mean, like because if you think about it, Raiders of the Lost Ark took the sequence of the movies is the Temple of Doom, then Raiders of the Lost Ark, then Last Crusade, then Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Yeah. So, but at the beginning of Kingdom of the Crystal Skull,
don't forget young Indiana Jones.
Yeah, young Indiana Jones too. That's right. We don't talk about that. But even they talked about before at the beginning of Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, like the secret missions that Dr. Jones had when he was a spy for the American military, apparently. So maybe that's what we get. I don't know, man. I'm just excited. Anything new Indiana Jones?
Well, the post here from IGN says, quote, "This game will be set during the, quote, height of the career of the famed adventurer." So I'm thinking Raiders of the Lost Ark era.
Fuck yes.
Dude, so, Nazis and stuff.
Yes, which, if you played Wolfenstein 2, there's a part in the game where you gotta go like to downtown Roswell and it's all Nazis and everything. It really feels like you're in... Naziville, New Mexico, 1976. Yeah. They're really good at that stuff. So,
wait! I just saw something. It's I'm still on the IGN article. So in the teaser where it shows all his shit on the table, there's a plane ticket to Rome, October 1937. So it predates Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I'm excited, man. I'm excited for this.
I am too.
And this is the kind of stuff where when they take a good property based off something that's already has a good fan base in, they try to expand on it. They can do it very well. So this could be something like they did with the Ghostbusters video game, for instance. The Ghostbusters video game, when they couldn't make Ghostbusters 3, they took the script and turned it into the Ghostbusters game. You get it remastered, and it's a great game. It's a great continuation of the Ghostbusters saga without having to make Dan Aykroyd lose 150 pounds and get Bill Murray and all that kind of stuff. So
my son beat that game, by the way. My 7-year-old son. That's the first game he's ever beaten.
Which is awesome.
Yeah,
Hell,
I'm
congrats.
so proud of him.
And it's a fun game.
And even more impressive, he beat it on Switch, which, as you know, has a frame rate of about 4.
Yeah. Good.
So he really stuck with it.
Damn. Good job, kid. That's impressive.
Yeah.
Dude, well, like
I bought it on Switch to play it, and I was like, no, this is bullshit. The frame rate is horrible. I'm getting a headache. I give up.
Yeah.
And he was like, he just powered through it for like 3 weeks.
Gangster. I love it. I love it, man.
Yeah.
Well, dude, I think this is going to be good,
excited.
man. They can expand on the universe. There's a lot of pressure on this, but if you're going to have anybody do it, let them do it. And the best part is that it's going to be free on Game Pass because it's done by Bethesda, which is owned by Microsoft.
I was going to say, do you think it's going to be a first-party exclusive?
100%.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. There's no way.
Well,
there's no other way. And I bet you will probably get this game released right around the time the 5th Indiana Jones comes out.
I forgot about that.
And that's supposed to be, I think, in 2022, 23. So, yeah, we'll probably get this in a year and a half, too.
Yeah. Well, I'm definitely looking forward to the game much more than I'm looking forward to the 5th movie. As much as I love the franchise.
Yep. Let's see.
It is what it is.
Yeah, well.
Yep. So let's,
You know what?
Huh?
We're both going to be either in theater seeing this movie day one or playing this game day one, wearing our fedoras and carrying a bullwhip. So let's not act like we're not ready for this.
Exactly. So let's move on. So we do have a release window finally for Halo Infinite. It is coming fall of 2021. I think we kind of all knew that this was going to happen. It was going to be pushed back to the latter part of the year.
Oh yeah.
And I'm glad it got pushed back because while I didn't really have too many issues with the trailer that they showed or the gameplay, I mean, like the 8 minutes, a lot of people did, and it was very clear that it didn't impress. So the fact that they're pushing it back and polishing it up, for lack of a better phrase, I think is a good move. I mean, we all saw what happened with Cyberpunk, which is such a weird thing to say for a game that was in development for, 8 years? 7 years?
Yeah. Think about this. There's somebody out there who has a Cyberpunk Edition Xbox One X and they can't even play the fucking game on it.
I know, really.
I mean, like...
Oh, by the way, speaking of which, it just got another patch. It was a huge patch. It was like 13 gigs or something. So, I believe, please don't take my word for this because I only have a Series X, not an older system, but I believe it's supposed to play much better on the older systems.
Dude, man, I tried to play Cyberpunk the other day and I couldn't do it. I just turned it off.
Well, that leads us actually into our next topic. So the Cyberpunk Next Gen upgrade will also be coming the second half of 2021, which is kind of a bummer. I think we all knew it wasn't coming in January or February, but I wouldn't have been mad if they said, oh, your Xbox Series X and PS5 upgrade for Cyberpunk is coming in, I don't know, April.
Yeah.
I would have been okay with that. But second half tells me, holidays? That's probably what they're aiming for.
Yeah, and they'll probably do like a special edition and try to raise up their prices. And that's where they're going to fuck up because when you have Halo Infinite coming out, which is going to be a super hyped up game, and that's being delayed, like Cyberpunk, they're fucking themselves over and over and over again. And like the game,
which is so weird coming from CD Projekt Red. I mean, this is not them.
But you're right, and that's what's so weird is that CD Projekt Red feels like this is going to be hard because how much longer are we going to continue to give the studios a pass? Like, so all these people bought this fucking game, and it's going to be a year before it's going to play the way it's supposed to play, and it took you so 9 years before this game is right. And no offense to the game, but so far it hasn't really sucked me in or intrigued me. I mean, it's been cool the first part of it, but now I'm doing this part. Like, I just had to go find some Silverhand records or something. Like, I'm just like, I'm not enthralled into it. So,
yeah, I put probably a good 15 hours into it, but once I finished the Pan Am storyline, I kind of just went, I'm good waiting for the upgrade.
Right, like that's why
Especially since Hitman 3 came out. I'm putting all my time into that.
Right, like I mean, I have no desire to play it, which sucks because I really want to, but yeah. I mean, I really wanted to. Like I was so excited when it got here, and I'm just disappointed, and I'm not going to get my money back because I don't want to. Right. That'd be fucked up to this. Yeah, there's no point, and I'm not going to take away from the studio because they're going to do what they have to do to make it right. That's what. Yeah. That's their job. So hey, man, it's cool. I'm just not doing it again.
On the topic of Hitman 3, did you see that absolutely wonderful article about this Twitch streamer who made it his life mission to kill every single NPC in the Sapienza map from Hitman 1 with one explosive rubber ducky?
Yes, and
he did it in a clown suit.
It's amazing.
And it took him 7 hours. He knocked every single NPC unconscious, dragged them into the butcher shop. It was what? It was like 250 NPCs, right? Something like that. Yep. And then he chucked an explosive ducky in there. It only killed 20. So he added a propane tank. It only killed like another 20 or 30. And then he just decided it was because there were so many people in there, it was creating basically a meat shield.
That's right. Oh my!
And I was like, this is what I want to do with my life. I want to be him.
Right, like I mean, he set out on a mission. He smoked some good green and was ready for it, bro.
Yep.
Like I'm not mad. I suck. I would be the world's worst hitman. So I tried.
Same.
I tried the Dubai mission, and I was like, dude. First of all, fucking beautiful. Hitman 3 is beautiful, and
yeah.
So just to dump a little bit more on Cyberpunk here, Hitman 1 plays and looks better than Cyberpunk 2077.
It really does.
Just so we're clear.
That's not just us being dicks about it. It really does.
It really does. And so I tried the Dubai mission in Hitman 3. Beautiful. And ray tracing isn't even on yet, from what you told me, right?
No, it's not. It's all screen space reflections right now.
And it's beautiful. Like, I mean, when you're outside the scepter and you're looking inside and everything, but I think I put it in an hour and a half, still have no idea what the fuck I'm doing in this level. So I just quit. I was like, I'm done. It's beautiful. But I went back and played the first two levels of Hitman 1, and the way they have it set up where I can go into Hitman 3 and do all the campaigns and how beautiful it is and how remastered it is and how much fun it is, dude. I love it. It's so well done. And I just don't see how Cyberpunk took 8 years for that hot garbage, and they managed to make 3 Hitmans in that time that play and look better. It's mind baffling to me. And again, that's what I say. When do we give studios the fucking benefit of the doubt, bro? Like, I mean, when do we stop giving them that?
Did you, by any chance, watch that Digital Foundry video I sent you about the upgrades to Hitman's 1 and 2?
I don't think I got a chance to watch it yet. Send it over to me again.
Okay, you should see it because they do a side-by-side comparison of the upgraded graphics to Hitman 1 and 2 compared with the PS4 and Xbox One versions. And we're not talking a mind-blowing difference. Like, we're not talking night and day, but just the addition of the reflections, and they actually went in and they did shit like they added more realistic foliage to the trees. No. They didn't have to do that, but they did.
Right. Well, remember when...
And just little things like that, like you'll never notice playing on your own on the PS5.
Oh, yeah.
But when you do a side-by-side, you're like, holy shit, this looks better.
Well, remember when the Spider-Man game first came out and they were showing us like the video clips of it, and you know, people were like, oh my god, look at the water reflections, and they weren't there inside the game? I'm pretty sure that just means that they were just showing us their fucking clips on a PS5, because that's exactly what we're getting on the PS5, man. And I'm blown away when with what we're getting. And I texted you this the other night when we were looking at, I don't remember what fucking game it was, but it was just like an older game, and I was like, dude, I'm so blown away with what we're getting already, and we're still in the quote-unquote day one phase of next-gen games. And to see what we're getting with like older games, like to play Uncharted 4 on my PS5, it looks amazing, dude.
I so wish Uncharted 4 had a unlocked frame rate. Oh my god, that game would look... If everything else looked the same and it just bumped up to 60, holy crap.
Dude, right? So like, and I love it. And going on my Series X and playing older games and playing like Valhalla, oh my god, or going through and playing... Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Oh god, dude, it's so beautiful on the Series X. It looks fucking real. So when I see this, I love it. And then I put in Cyberpunk, and I'm like, well, there's Cyberpunk. Yeah. There's that. And I don't know, man. It upsets me. And CD Projekt Red, you guys did great with Witcher 3 to an extent. But again, I'm not going to buy it. I'm not investing any money into your products anymore. That was it for me. I'm not going to request a refund. I'm not going to dump on you anymore. But you guys, you'll need to fix it. I appreciate the hard work you put in with the story and to fix it. But I'm done.
Yeah. And so while we're on the topic of, bleeding out your goodwill with studios, let's move on to our next piece, which is on February 16th, the Avengers are going to do another War Table announcement / blog / whatever, where they're going to be talking more about the PS5 and Xbox Series XS upgrades. Like, I assume they're going to let us know when it's coming. So here's another thing where, is it too little too late? Because the Avengers launched when? Was it August or September?
Yeah, that was September.
Because it was around the fires.
Yeah, it was September.
Yeah, it was September. So it launched in September. In between September and now, which, let's just call it February because we're basically there. Between September and February, we got one piece of new content.
Yep.
Which is the Kate Bishop DLC. Now, thank you for making it free. I haven't played it yet. I played one level of it, and it's pretty fun. Thank you for making it free and not charging us for additional episodes. But between September and February, with one piece of additional content, prior to that, everyone's biggest complaint was once you're done with the campaign, there's nothing else to do because it's so repetitive. I mean, what if they come in on February 16th and they say, okay, the PS5 upgrade is going to be October? Well, fuck, I'm not going to be playing that game all the way to October. And when October comes and the upgrade drops, I guarantee you what I'll do is look at it. I'm going to be like, ooh, shiny, and never touch it again.
Yep. It's
They've got to put more shit out.
They do, and that's what sucks because we sat here and was promised this. And it's like, cool, man. And we invested money and we played Avengers, and then it was over. And the story was cool, but
the campaign was phenomenal. Right. I'll give them that.
But that's it. And they've... sorry, crack my back, but they've done...
They just shouldn't have made it a live service game. They should have had it with just the campaign.
Right.
Maybe like a multiplayer mode with some co-op, and then just left it at that. Because once you say we're doing a live service game like this, people are going to expect something the quality of like a Borderlands or a Destiny 2.
And
that's not what we got.
And here we are again. So when do we stop giving studios the benefit of the doubt? Now Square Enix, they did good with like the Tomb Raider series, but they're not.
Yeah, Crystal Dynamics and Square Enix, they're good with their Final Fantasy and Tomb Raider. It's great, So granted, this is their first real big stumble.
Right. But like they're better than this, so they should be able to fix this, and they should have realized, hey man, we stumbled, let's fix it. Now I understand it takes a long time to develop content, to test it, to get it rolled out, to make sure it's great, to get the patches for future gen and everything else. But I can fucking guarantee you that when Avengers came out in August or September of last year, they fucking knew the PS5 and Series X were coming out. They had been developing with it for at least a year, so they knew what was going on. So it wasn't like it's a huge shock for them. And I think what kind of upsets me too is that the 25th anniversary of Tomb Raider's coming up, and at the bottom of this link that I was looking at, it's like their plan is just to take the other 3 Tomb Raider games, put them together, and then reboot the trilogy. And it's like, well, why would I buy it when my Series X is already giving me all 3 Tomb Raider games?
Is that what they're doing? I thought they announced that there was going to be a new game that incorporates
Lara
elements
Croft's
from the old
next
series
adventure
and the new
will
series.
unify the timelines in Core Design's original Tomb Raider games and its own reboot trilogy.
See, I took that to mean that they're going to do a new trilogy, but they're going to incorporate more stuff from the, more gameplay elements.
He also
from the old
warned
series.
fans that the studio doesn't have plans for a major game announcement in the near future. So, and that what pisses me off about that is that
that's telling.
That's what I'm saying. Like, PlayStation to me was built on the backs of Tomb Raider and Crash Bandicoot, and now it's 2021 and we've got the PlayStation 5 launching, and there's no Tomb Raider, there's no Crash Bandicoot. We don't have that, and again, that's fine. There's plenty of other things to play, but it's like, okay, so now these franchises that everybody know and loves, I'm not going to get anything. That's fucked up.
Isn't it weird that you're absolutely right? Isn't it weird that Lara Croft, which was at one point a PlayStation mascot, has since become an Xbox mascot?
Yep. Well, dude, and it's crazy because I own
same thing with Joanna Dark.
Yeah, that's true. You're 100% right.
Nintendo and now Xbox.
Yep. And I own all my Tomb Raider games except the first one, which was Rise of the Tomb Raider. Wait, Tomb Raider, and then Rise.
The first one was just Tomb Raider.
Yeah. So Tomb Raider I have on my PlayStation, and then Rise of the Tomb Raider, Shadow of the Tomb Raider on my Xbox because it looks better and plays better.
Yeah.
So it's just nicer.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is crazy, but again, man, for Square, for them to have this and then this be their announcement is really disappointing and just kind of, when you have other studios and other games like Resident Evil VIII coming out, and it's ridiculous when you look at the demo, which I know we both played, for Resident Evil VIII Maiden, and you look at Cyberpunk.
Dude, yeah. I mean, if anything is night and day, that right there,
I mean,
should be the most selling, because Resident Evil 7, which is basically which is what Resident Evil 8 is going to be continuing off of. Wasn't that made during Cyberpunk's development time?
Yep. And
so that game is yeah. So I mean,
and it was in VR too.
That's right. Oh my god, I wouldn't play that in VR. Resident Evil 7 was probably the scariest Resident Evil since I first played the first one back on the PS1, where everybody looked like pixels.
Yeah, it's true. I liked it though. I liked Resident Evil 7. I'm actually going back and playing it again because I didn't get to finish playing.
I am too.
And I really liked it. I only got to the part with the guy inside the garage, and then then after I killed him, I had a corruption in my hard drive, and I was like, I don't want to go back and kill that guy again. I was like, it just sucked. So I
really like that whole Texas Chainsaw Massacre aura of Resident Evil 7.
Dude,
that's freaky shit.
And Resident Evil is good too at building their environments. Like when you first walk into the house and you're going through the kitchen, you open up the fridge and all the slimy shit.
Yeah.
It's just you're instantly sucked in. Like, oh my god, this is so disgusting. So when I played fucking the Resident Evil Maiden demo, dude, that's how I felt. Like I was.
Yeah, let's talk about that since that's our next thing anyways. The demo was, it was mine. Now, granted, for people that don't know, this is very, very and they even call it this, so don't for 1 second think this is representative of the full game. They are calling it a visual demo. This has nothing to do with the game. The whole game isn't going to be like this. They're just showing off visually what can be done for Resident Evil 8 Village. So I heard a lot of people bitching about this. Oh, is this what the game's going to be like? I'm canceling my pre-order. Dude, fucking relax. This is a visual demo like PT was.
Right. That's all it is. And it is, when you're first looking at the barrels inside the prison with just your flashlight, dude, I was there. Like, I mean, you
dude,
are...
and there was fucking maggots in there.
Yes. Dude, you're fucking in there. And it's so well done. And again, I don't take this as any indicative of how the game is going to be. It's all just set up as a gaming demo so you can see what it's going to be like and how the ray tracing is going to work and the visual graphics. And the 3D
on that,
designs.
I read somewhere that the demo was running on 4K, 60 FPS with ray tracing. Now, I believe it's a dynamic resolution or dynamic frame rate, I forget which. So, it'll dip, but, I mean, it just goes to show the PS5, and I assume the Xbox Series X as well, can push out 4K 60 FPS ray trace.
Absolutely, and that's where...
And it looks so good.
It does, and that's the crazy part, is that the consoles... Right. So, here's my theory. TVs, for the longest time, have always been a little bit behind what we're able to get. Like, not the TVs, but like Comcast. They can't push through your cable provider, so you can't get the live stream content in 4K, blah, 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 blah. So now we have these Sony TVs, which have had 240 hertz and all these refresh rates for so long that no one's ever got to touch. And now you got your PlayStation 5, which is doing that, which is taking that content onto a disc or a digital copy and pushing it out. And it is fucking mind baffling. Like anybody who's been watching the NFL on Amazon, they started filming with these 8K cameras, and the visual cutaway scenes after touchdowns is like fucking Madden. And it is mind blowing how beautiful it looks and how clear the image is and just what it looks like. And it's crazy because we're blown away at how close to the video game it looks, not how close the video game looks to real life. And
You're right, yeah.
And it's ridiculous that we're able to get that now to the point where I don't like to watch live TV or cable because to me it looks like shit. I'd rather just either stream it or go on my PlayStation. And like even playing Immortals Phoenix Rising, it's beautiful. The color pops, the scenery, the visuals, everything. And with what we just saw with this Resident Evil Maiden demo, I am blown away because again, like I said, we're in the quote unquote day one. We're not really gonna get out of that. We'll hit a couple months, and then we're gonna be all of a sudden cranking up with the next game because we haven't even gotten the big games yet to see what these power consoles can do. So it's insane. And the Resident Evil 8 demo on the PS5 showing what it can do with the proper TV was just, dude, it was like watching a movie that you were controlling. And
dude, I went into that kind of chuckling at all the memes about, the hot vampire chicks, and I was like, man, you guys are lame. And, until I ran into that part, and I was like, man, I'm feeling a stirring in my my areas. This vampire chick can step on me all day if she wants.
Oh, that's nasty. That's funny.
And I never was someone that was into goth chicks, but here you are, this 8 foot tall, I forgot her name, Lady D something, bursts through the door, and I'm like, God damn.
Dude, it's crazy. She was like 8 feet tall. It was bananas, but like visually,
she had to duck through the door.
Dude, right. And visually so well done. I like what they're doing. And like that game Medium just came out today on the Series X. So I downloaded it to play it.
It actually came out a couple days ago. I played it like 2 or 3 days ago.
Oh, you did?
I think it came out Thursday or Wednesday. Dude. I don't recall. But I only put about an hour into it since, I'm so into Hitman right now.
How is it?
It's a very, very, very slow. It's like an adventure game.
Nice.
It's a very slow paced, pick up an item here, read this paper here.
Yeah.
Oh no, this door doesn't open. Go find the key in another room. It's like an adventure game, much less so than an action game. But picture the pace of like an old school Resident Evil 1 and 2, where your character doesn't walk ever faster than like a stroll.
Yeah.
And just I wouldn't say it's scary, but the entire ambience of the game is just kind of uncomfortable.
Nice.
That's the best way of putting it.
Well, and you can do the simultaneous
so
games,
good.
right? Like the simultaneous worlds?
Yeah, it's actually split screen when it happens, and that kind of threw me off at first, but you eventually get used to it.
Well, it's crazy to think that the system now can handle that kind of content because that's that Ratchet and Clank game.
Yeah, can handle 2 assets from what's essentially 2 different games at the same time.
Absolutely, and like that's like that Ratchet and Clank game that we were looking at, where he was going through and he's warping through worlds at the same time simultaneously. So that's why I'm excited to play Medium, because I got to download it and I want to put in a couple hours, because that is the power of these consoles that you're getting. That's just that blows me away. And sorry, and that takes me back to shit on Cyberpunk one more time real quick. In Hitman 1, 2, and 3, man, when I'm walking through a bathroom, I can see myself in the fucking reflection when I'm walking through. I shouldn't have to walk over to a mirror and then have it activated. I should be able to see that reflection, and that pisses me off that you can't do that in Cyberpunk.
That was kind of a bootsy, we just didn't want to animate this.
Right, and that pissed me off so much, because I that bothered me to no extent, because to me it took me out of the game so much. It took me out of being like, oh, I'm this character, to nope, here I am, look at my weird person.
And dude, if I have one thing I need to complain about in terms of Cyberpunk, sure, they need to fix all the bugs, they need to give me the next gen upgrade and everything, but if there's one huge complaint I have to make about it, is you have to let me transmogrify my gear. I cannot walk around in a pink tube top and short shorts just because it's a higher armor rating level. I just can't. I mean, I can because it's funny for about 5 minutes.
But then it just gets annoying.
But at some point, you gotta let me switch over. You gotta let me transmogrify my gear to look like something I want it to look like, because part of the Cyberpunk mystique is the fashion.
Yes, dude, you're right. And I hate the fact that like you make a character at the beginning and then you can't really do much of anything with it. And I'm like, come on.
I'm walking around now. My character right now is wearing a pair of flip-flops or something that have, for if some inexplicable reason, have a super high armor rating, so I have to wear those flip-flops. I'm wearing these gangbanger shorts, a pink tube top, and like a Halo helmet. And that's what my character looks like. And I have to use those items because they have the highest armor rating. What the fuck?
Dude, my guy has on basketball shorts, a pair of shoes, a tank top, and a shoulder gun vest, and a hat, because that's all I can get for the most protection. And I'm like, my dude looks like an idiot.
I told you about that glitch I had, right? Where, so, kind of spoilers, not really spoilers. So if you do the storyline with Pan Am in the very last mission, you and Pan Am have sex inside this tank, and as soon as you're done, these enemies attack, and you have to like drive the tank around and jump out of the tank and kill them. So I had this glitch, and it was the funniest fucking glitch ever. I finished having sex with Pan Am. The attack starts. I jump out of the tank, but the clothes never come back on. So I'm walking around with my freaking mantis blades, slicing down bad guys with my dick flopping around.
That makes
and everyone's acting like it's normal.
Oh, that makes me so happy.
And I'm like, this is because in the game, if you take all your clothes off, then you look down, you still see like underwear on.
Yeah.
But not for this glitch.
That makes me so happy that you got that. See, I don't get cool glitches like that. The only glitch I've ever gotten, you reminded me, man, I didn't get a dick out, but I got to be Spider-Brick in Miles Morales, and that shit was fun as fuck. For a whole, I just kept playing. Like, I got to fight people and everything as Spider-Brick, dude. It was so fucking fun.
Fucking
dude, it was. I remember I sent you a video. I'm like, I'm a Spider.
Oh yes,
dude, it was so fucking funny. But you get to fight with your dick.
If in Into the Spider-Verse 2 they don't have a cameo from Spider-Brick, I'm gonna riot.
I'm gonna be exactly, man. Spider-Brick or riot. That's it.
Yep, Spider-Brick or Spider Bathtub. I think a bathtub was the other one that a lot of people were getting, or Spider Light Pole.
Oh, it just doesn't make any sense. I love it. I absolutely love it.
So the final piece of news we have, and I don't know how big of a fan you are of this franchise, but did you play the old Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic RPGs?
Yeah, on the Xbox?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Such good games, such good stories, such good world building. They made me wait like 4 hours to build my first lightsaber, and it was worth every minute. New one's coming, developed by BioWare and EA. I mean, good, because BioWare developed the first one. Obsidian did the second one, so I guess BioWare's doing this third one. What we don't know is if it's a remake, if it's a continuation, like a part 3 or whatever. But BioWare kind of needs to get back into the good graces of the fans after Anthem. And EA's EA. People are always shitting on them for whatever reason. Yeah. EA did good. But go ahead.
But EA and BioWare are not doing this.
Are not doing what?
They're not.
KOTOR?
They're not doing the Knights of the Republic game.
Am I not reading? Not developed. You're right. I even wrote it down.
Oh,
I'm an idiot. You're right. They are not doing. New Knights of the Old Republic, not developed by EA and BioWare. Reading is hard.
It is, man. It is.
Yep. Let's see who is doing this. I'm looking at the article right now. This article is from IGN, so credit where credit is due. It doesn't say. I don't think.
Let's see. It doesn't say.
Nope, it doesn't say. It looks like there's, gonna be a Battlefront 3. So hopefully they learn from their microtransactions debacle. I'm okay with
an outside studio doing this, because an outside studio coming in and doing something like this, like you take away any pressure that EA or BioWare is going to have from any kind of studios, from investors, from any kind of storylines, and it gives them a chance to do their own thing. And a lot of those standalone things have turned out to be phenomenal.
Maybe it's going to be Obsidian, and they just haven't announced it yet, because Obsidian's so good with KOTOR 2, with Fallout New Vegas, with Outer Worlds. They know their RPGs.
Well, and see, this is where I have like my problem with Star Wars, but I don't have a problem with Star Wars. Like, I got burnt out with Star Wars because Episode 7 and Episode 9 were basically just a retelling of what we've already seen, and everything became so saturated within these 9 these 9 movies with these 8 characters that it just got boring, which is why Rogue One was a breath of fresh air, which is why
so good.
which is why Solo, I liked Solo. If it just didn't have the Solo name on it, it would have been a great space heist movie. But
it would have been a great movie set in the universe.
Right.
And you're right. It should have just been about smugglers, not Han Solo.
Absolutely. And then at the end of the movie, you'd be like, oh, what's your name, kid? Or some shit, just whatever the fuck you do. But you take the Solo name off of it, you got a great space heist movie. And with Star Wars, I was hesitant to watch The Mandalorian because I'm like, dude, I'm burnt out on Star Wars. But I binged the entire first season when I was sick with a stomach bug a couple days, like last week, and it was fantastic because it's in Star Wars,
so good,
but it's not in Star Wars, and it's done so well. So I was in.
It's like if Sergio Leone did Star Wars.
Yes, absolutely, dude. And I think what it is it's again these small self-contained stories with different directors with a different view. And I am excited for this because the original Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic was an original story that these people pulled out and they made this amazing game for it. So let somebody else try to do it. And I have hope that a new studio can come in and do something like this because you have to give a fresh take on something, which is why you can't have George Lucas, who did episode 4, not episode 5 and 6, even though he wrote the overarching story, he only directed episode 4, come back and do episodes 1, 2, and 3 by himself with his own input, because that's how you get that stale cardboard robotic dialogue and everything over CGI. Yeah. You have to take a step back and finally take a different change. And I think that with Knights of the Old Republic, with such a huge history and story and such love for it, you could turn this into something that could be a massive game that could be much more along the lines of what Avengers wanted to be and should have been with a Star Wars game, which is what people want. Star Wars Squadron.
So here's the thing. So the plot of all the characters that became super famous and quote unquote got brought into canon, such as Darth Malak and Darth Revan from the first 2 games, are clearly not part of the canon now, because ever since Disney took over the Star Wars franchise, they kind of killed the all the extended canon, and it's a very, very tight official canon that they're allowing now. So if the new KOTOR game is gonna be a remake, do you think this is a way to bring in fan favorite characters like Darth Revan and Darth Malak or Darth Bane even into the official Star Wars canon?
Absolutely.
Because it has to be part of the canon now if they're making a new game.
Yes, but what they shouldn't do, which is what we haven't seen yet, is make it an absolute necessity to do these games or to read this or to play that to be a part of these stories. So that's a good idea, and I think they should definitely do that and bring in these characters and then see how they play out.
Yeah.
But don't try to make it and cram characters that are fan favorites that already have these stories and put their stories into these games just to put them in there. So, oh my God, well, you don't know who this person is. Well, how come you haven't watched this? Like with The Mandalorian. I love The Mandalorian, but I shouldn't have to go back and watch the Clone Wars to get super excited about what's happening. I should just be able to jump into Mandalorian and go. So I'm hoping that they don't Matrix this shit where it's like, oh, well, if you watch the Animatrix and you play the Matrix video game and then you read this book, it's like, nah, man, just give me a fucking story. So yes, I think they should and give them their own stories because these characters got a name. Tell a good story with it. Let's see where it goes. But
because they're bringing back characters like Grand Admiral Thrawn. Mm-hmm. They're already bringing him back into the canon, but you're not going to know who he is unless you've read the book.
Absolutely. So then bring them in and introduce it to a new audience, but keep it along the same. Keep it true enough to its base, but introduce it to a new family. Back to circle around like we're going to see with Suicide Squad and fucking Polka Dot Man and all these people. Keep it true to your base, but bring it around where you can introduce it to new people and make everybody happy. And abso-fucking-lutely, man. Yep. So bring them in and do it. Yep. I want to hear it and see it. But again, it's way easier to sit here and talk about this shit on a podcast than it is to write it and do it. So man,
it really is.
Whatever.
And we do recognize that.
Absolutely,
so
man.
Just keep in mind, this is just us pulling shit out of our ass.
We sit here like half awake in the morning on coffee or half buzzed or whatever time of the day it is, and just try to spit out ideas, man. So take what we say with a grain of salt.
So I do want to apologize in advance if I cannot edit this correctly. It's going to sound weird because I can promise you I am not going to want to re-record this.
No, not at all. This is.
So I will try my best to edit this into a listenable format. If it ends up being all fucked up, I'm sorry.
And what you
And on that note, go ahead.
What you guys need to do too, if it doesn't make any sense, is sit back, take your favorite drink, and then start Dark Side of the Moon. And when it hits 7 seconds, hit play on our podcast. Everything will link up.
Correct. And you know what? Just to give yourself a true mind fuck, why don't you toss on Wizard of Oz as well?
There it is.
Just have all three forms of media on.
and just enjoy the ride, guys.
And when Dark Side is done, throw animals on.
Exactly. And enjoy.
Yep. Enjoy. So on that note, my name is Tony. You can follow me on Twitter at ToneZone81.
Yo, y'all already know. My name is Josh. You guys can follow me on Twitter at BruceBane66.
And thank you all for listening. We will be back.
Later, Gators.